So, I think we were talking off air, a little bit about AI, but you were saying about some of these articles and things that you read, and
A couple people had opinions on, jobs and careers that either might wane a bit or might accelerate a bit. And I kind of lumped them into what I read, their descriptions, kind of physical jobs and then emotional jobs. Like physical, they were talking about the trades,
mhm,
plumbers and people,
electricians and all those things you need.
electricians. And then on the emotional jobs, people are still going to want to talk to people like counseling, psychologists, things like that. So I don't know, it gets you thinking about what's happening. And then if we allow ourselves to think a bit, I think it presents opportunity for us to sort of envision, maybe what this kind of new future looks like. I don't know. What are your thoughts, and like what do you think about?
Honestly, I think back to like my job and jobs that I've had. Those they didn't exist back when my parents were, I don't know, young adults, right? And with the computer came all these new jobs that just never existed before. So I almost think as we're sitting here today and thinking about the future, we just don't know what new jobs or new opportunities will be there. And I think the people that figure that stuff out sooner are going to be in a really good spot. I love the idea of AI to help make people more efficient. I don't personally love it replacing jobs, but I do remember when robots came into the um, factories, right, to build cars, and a lot of people were very upset about that. And these people, that's what they did, and that's what they knew, and they were out of a job, and they had to figure out what the next thing was, and it kind of feels like that, and it's like that fear of the unknown.
You think about the adaptability of new people starting out in all these different industries
Yeah.
and what the world is looking like in terms of tech, what the expectations are for them. I think of people changing jobs, but I also think a lot about leaders that we work with, right, in different organizations, different companies. And I think about AI and its acceleration, the availability of data in general, and the pressures that all companies are facing. They have always faced these cost pressures, um, finding ways to be more efficient. I think leaders are going to need to take stock of how well they're going to make changes and how fast. I think it's going to be interesting the next couple of years about how organizations pressure the rest of their leaders
Mm.
um, to make change. And I think AI and everything that comes with it is, I think, revealing what's possible. Like you just said earlier, um, people can go back and within hours and days come up with a minimal viable product that is proving value. Maybe not at scale at that point, but you can't deny it's proving value. And so I think there's going to be so much peer pressure in all industries, and boards and senior leaders are going to be asking all of their teams, why are we still doing A? Why are we still doing B? And so, again, I think back to what you and I do, new people starting their careers, people making changes, I think those that can help those vulnerable leaders who want to make a change see what's possible, help them reduce risk and things. I think those are the people that are going to thrive, I think, in the next 2 to 5 years.
New leader coming in wanting to make a change, put their mark on the organization. The tools that are available to them now are unparalleled compared to what it used to be just even a few years ago.
Yeah.
And but I wonder if the same kinds of things that would hold somebody like back still hold true. So you have to have your leader,
Yeah.
right? The leader's leader has to be supportive of that. And I know there are some that aren't, that they're resistant to change. They know what they know. They're, maybe don't want to rock the boat. They're at the end of the career and they want to let's finish this thing out, and I don't want to take any risks at this point. So I think is maybe some advice to consider if you're a newer leader coming into an organization. Make really sure that you've got a leader that's supportive of the
Yeah.
types of things that you want to do, especially if you're looking to change things up,
Yeah.
put in some pretty dramatic changes. You're going to have that support from the leaders that are above you, because everybody's got a boss, right? So, and the boss's boss, and so you get into those kind of political conversations and things, but that's something you got to think about. And I do think the ones that have that support, I agree with you, they're gonna be unstoppable. It's prime for just being efficient and making some big moves, and I think even if you misstep, which we've all misstepped, and you should make mistakes and be able to correct it. But I think the speed at which you can correct mistakes is also much faster than it's ever been before as
Yeah.
well.
I agree. I
So
agree.
yeah, what a time to be alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.